Our final speaker for this agenda item is Mr. Mark Speno. Speno, please pronounce it so that I don't mess it up again. Pronounce it correctly for me and state your first and last name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Mark Speno. I live at 8647 East Davenport Drive, about 5 doors down from this property here. I think it was you, Mr. Scarborough, that asked the question, why was it shot down when this thing went up for variances in 2013? And I will tell you it's because the neighborhood showed up here in force, dead set against it for some of the reasons I'm going to give you here in just a moment. Okay, in fact, we were all ready to show up last month in force, but this meeting was postponed. Again, we've been through several postponements. I think part of it has been because they've been trying to shake off the neighborhood, because we get really angry when this thing comes up again, time and time again. So here we are, there's 3 of us. A month ago, there would have been darn near 40 of us here, okay? Mr. Koo, first of all, lives in a $1 million view home in McDowell up on the mountain. The idea that he's gonna move his family and build a house and shove it up against a sound wall on a freeway, no one believes it. This is an investment because he bought that lot for a song. He bought this lot, he might be an architect, he's also a real estate speculator. And he bought this lot speculating that when he bought it on the cheap with the full knowledge that it was not developable in its current state, that he could somehow shove it down this neighborhood's throat and turn it into something that it was not designed to be. So the neighborhood showed up in force, and I'm going to start to list some of the things that we really object to. Number 1 is the pie shape. If you look at it, it has no street frontage. The only street frontage this lot has is barely enough room for a driveway, and then it shoots off to a flag. It will be the only home in our development that has absolutely no street frontage. If you have neighbors that want to park on the street, they have to park in front of somebody else's house. Second of all, he wants to put a 2-story house in a neighborhood where there are no 2-story homes. He wants to change the nature and the character of our neighborhood. The idea that he would object to anybody else wanting to do a lot split, then the idea, and Mr. Young, your point is well taken, and thank you for recognizing that, because anybody else who has a 1-acre lot, I live on almost a 1-acre lot, is they're going to use that argument. You allowed him to do it, why won't you allow me to do it? And they'll make a very strong case on how quickly everybody will forget that we had this meeting and, well, we can't allow you to split a lot because, well, Mr. Koo would object to that. I don't believe that for a second. I think it sets a dangerous precedence in our neighborhood to turn this lot into something that it wasn't supposed to be. The neighbor who lives right in the group home adjacent has been trying to contact Mr. Koo for several weeks to buy the lot, and he will not return his phone calls. And that goes to the argument he made that, well, there's nothing else we can do with it because it has no other uses. Well, if he'd return the neighbor's call, who wants to buy it, there are alternative uses for this lot. It's a shame I only get 3 minutes, that with all the time they've had, with all their misinformation and fallacies that they put in front of you, we only get 3 minutes apiece to talk about the things that all this neighborhood, 40 of us showed up to a public meeting in front of this site about several months ago, and we took a vote. Who thinks this is a good idea? And everybody was against it. And Mr. Rickert said, well, I'm from this community and I don't object. Mr. Rickert, where do you live? Well, he lives in Gandy Ranch. He doesn't live in our community. Everyone who lives in this community is against it. Please, this is our neighborhood. We love it. That lot was not meant to be built on, and you do that, and you're going to start a brush fire of lot splits going through our community and turning it into something that it hasn't been. All the homes in our community have been there for at least 30 years. And with your vote, you're going to turn into something else. I just ask you to imagine you're the one living in this neighborhood, and every single one of your neighbors are against it as you are, and a speculator comes in and tries to make up all these stories about what all the good things he's going to do, and then he's going to live in it. I don't believe it.
Thank you, Mr. Speno.